take one, we're going to do a full run through. All cameras should be sunk on this.
Been killed, and this is the scene of the report any suspicious packages delivered overnight. So far, no arrests and no motive. This morning, after 3 mysterious explosions in less than 2 weeks, Austin, Texas is on high alert.
We don't know whether there's more bombs out there, and that's why we're asking the community not to panic, but to be vigilant.
A third package bomb exploding on Monday, leaving a 75-year-old woman in critical condition.
Man, very scary. There was glass inside the box. When she picked up the package, as soon as she picked it up, it detonated. Boom, exploded.
It came just hours after another blast 5 miles away.
There was a package that exploded inside of the home.
There's going to be 2 patients.
Police say a 17-year-old boy was killed and a woman wounded inside their kitchen. Neighbors stunned.
It's pretty wild. It's crazy.
Police are now linking the latest bombings to another one 11 miles away back on March 2nd. It killed 39-year-old Anthony House. Initially, police called it a suspicious death. Now it's being investigated as a homicide.
Given that we've had multiple incidents occur over a 10-day period, and the similarities between these 3 incidents make us believe that they are all related.
We believe it's a package that was on the porch.
Investigators say none of the 3 packages were mailed or sent by an official delivery service. The boxes just left quietly on the victim's doorsteps.
I actually phone called my mother, and I told her, if you get a package or something, don't open it.
So far, police say they found a pattern, but not a motive, and it's not clear whether any of the victims were specifically targeted.
It's personal because this is our city, this is our town, this is our home, and this is unacceptable.
Parts of the city are on edge. Police have gotten more than 80 calls of suspicious packages over the last 24 hours. Thankfully, false alarms.
Right before 7, I heard a boom, and it just woke me up. I was sleeping in that back room. And even though this house is rock structure, it felt like the wall shook. This is an established family. This whole neighborhood is an established neighborhood. Dre is like the 4th generation, 17-year-old young man, very sharp, very respectable. He's one of those kids when you talk to him, he's got his head on straight. He was very talented. He was a musician. He played several instruments, and he attended the prep school. It's a few blocks over on the 183. And he had made his applications to colleges. Every school that he applied to accepted him. And he had decided that he wanted to go to Howard, and because he was such a respectable kid, I'm pretty sure he had a bright future. Because it was 2 black families and a Hispanic family, that definitely sounds like hate crime to me. I'd like to see some answers. I'd like to see some resolution. Because it's my neighbor and it's the family, and I know the mother, I know the grandmother, I knew her parents. It's like, it's just not happening fast enough. We all want it to be over and done with and have some answers. And at this point, there just doesn't seem to be any that they're releasing.
Man, it's a peaceful neighborhood. Nothing go around over here. So when something happens like this here, that's like mind blowing. It's like, dude, this is right down the street from my house. It's just so crazy that now you have to be aware of all these little bitty things that once before you never had to be aware of. Them, especially my oldest son, he's 11. So you have to warn him, and you have to tell him in a manner to where he can understand. You can't go outside and pick up a package. You can't, that's not safe anymore. And that's strange and weird to tell an 11-year-old when he thinks he's just helping or he's not doing anything wrong. I know everybody wants to know why is this happening, who's doing it, what's their mentality. And that's all good. Yes, we should want to know, but my main concern is I just want it to be stopped.
I was in my bedroom and I heard it and it sounded like it was in my backyard. And I'm so sad for the, the parents of, and the family of the kid because his life was just beginning. The FBI has been around there, but I said maybe they're gathering all the evidence and we're not there hands-on, so we really don't know, and they may have a big leads or little leads, but they're not telling us. The only thing I think we could do is just kind of wait and see.
Thank you.
So as we mentioned, sadly, the youngest victim in these bombings is a 17-year-old, Draylen Mason. There he is playing his bass in the orchestra. He was a senior in high school at East Austin College Prep, on his way to the University of Texas in a very competitive music program that he had gotten into. He's also in the Austin Youth Orchestra. Great picture of this young man that we're showing you on our screen now. Joining me now is William Dick, the current conductor and founder of the Austin Youth Orchestra. Sir, I can only imagine how shocking this is for you and everybody involved in the music industry and area in Austin tonight.
Yeah, it's really pretty surreal because this week in Austin, it's our spring break, and it's the beginning week of the South by Southwest Music Festival, which is like, it's Austin at its most joyful, and for it to start out with this news is really quite devastating and surreal. And I must say, I really appreciate your interest in this story, and I hope that it helps all of us that love Drayson. It helps us in the processing of this information.
I hope it does too. When I read about his family and also the family of Mr. House, they were two of the more prominent African American families in the community. Their relatives and uncles were, involved in a lot of, activities in the area, including, one was a dentist, the other was mentor to UT students. So this is the background that these gentlemen came from. They were very well thought of in the community, weren't they?
Yes, yeah. Draylen, the youth orchestra has been in existence for many years, and like this year is the 25th anniversary of that orchestra, and I have been a conductor of it for a long time, but I'm back this year as help celebrate the 25th anniversary of it, and I have been working with Draylen since the fall of this year. I've watched him as he grew up, coming through our ranks and watching him as a little boy and watching him then this year as a senior in high school. And as you said, he's been accepted into a studio at UT. When I remember seeing Draylen, in this orchestra you have kids of high technical level, and that's sort of a given that the kids are going to be able to play. But every once in a while you see a kid that just has this spark. When Draylen appeared, in some sense he was kind of incandescent, like a Rembrandt painting where the light just sort of comes out of him. He's in the room, and it just, his little spirit was there, and along with the technical proficiency he was a young man that was, I think, really headed for he could do it. I think he could have accomplished anything he wanted to. We have people, alumni of this orchestra, like the first bassoonist of the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra in New York City was a member of this orchestra. The principal clarinetist of the Oregon Symphony was a member of this orchestra. There are many string players that are in really big orchestras and university teachers. I think Draylen was one of those kids that was really headed.
It's so sad. It's heartbreaking.
Direction.
And you describe him beautifully, and I can see what you're talking about when we look at these pictures of him. You can see the concentration as he plays, and it is such a tragedy. And I hope that we will continue, obviously, to put as much focus on this as we can, because we need to find the person that did this. This picture that we're showing now is just spectacular. So I'm sure you're all grieving, obviously, and we thank you for being with us tonight, Mr. Dick, and best of luck with you continue working with all of the other children that you have in your care. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, Facebook family and friends, my faithful loyal YouTube subscribers. Today is Thursday. It is March 22nd. The year is 2018. If you all have been watching the news lately, there was a bomber, a racist terrorist bomber in Austin, Texas, who went on a rampage, sending bombs to well-to-do minority neighborhoods for whatever reasons, whatever racists do their reasons why. The news and media is not going to report him as a racist terrorist, but that's what he was. He was a racist terrorist. And in his bombing spree, he sent a bomb to the home of a middle-class black family. He was predominantly sending these bombs to homes in this particular neighborhood, which was a minority, well-to-do middle class, maybe even upper middle class, depending on how you look at it, neighborhood. And there were two people that were killed, several people killed, actually three. Well, two, I believe. But one in particular was a 17-year-old kid named Draylen Mason, 17 years old. And I just want to do a video to remember him. I don't think the media has done enough to remember this kid who picked up a package that was delivered to his house, to his home, and the bomb killed him and critically injured his mother, and she's still in the hospital. So before he was killed in a blast on March 12th, Draylen Mason was a college-bound. He was involved in the Austin Soundwaves, a music educational program for underserved students in Central Texas. He took to the stand-up bass and even played in a Meraki band. He was amazing, so passionate, and very well-rounded, said Junior Hernandez, who described Mason as something of a role model. Everyone could see he had a bright future ahead with music. Mason caught the eye and ear of Doug Dempster, Dean of the University of Texas College of Fine Arts in Central Austin. Dempster had for years been watching Mason develop not only himself but also students around him. At 17, he stopped and patiently helped his fellow musicians in his trade. He was every inch a musician, the very most remarkable talent, a very remarkable youth orchestra program. He carried himself with the kind of quiet maturity that belied his youth. He was a mature, intelligent, handsome young man. Dempster said in a statement, he said Mason expected to become a Longhorn in the fall. But like 8 days early, Governor Evans was killed. Mason retrieved the package on the doorstep of his home. The explosion killed him and injured his mother. Once the second bombing occurred, the police warned the city that they could be related. The black community raised concern that the authorities did not move fast enough to warn others and ventured that there would be a faster response had the bombing occurred on the affluent white side of town, on the affluent west side of Austin. There's also speculation that the victims were targeted because of close connections. No one really knows why this bomb was sent to Mason's home. Nobody really knows why this particular young man was targeted or his family was targeted. They really won't know now that they've caught the young man who did the bombing. Maybe they may be able to get some answers. But he was killed on the 12th, March 12th, but another black man was killed on March the 2nd. And his name was Anthony Stephen Howes. He was 39. He was a construction worker and a money manager. And when he was killed, the first explosion, the police really didn't pay much attention to it. The police described the explosion of a package left from his doorstep as an isolated incident with no continuing threat to the community. After House died in the hospital less than an hour after it was reported. And that's where they made the mistake. This was on March 2nd. The second bomb happened on 10 days later. Had they been more aggressively investigated that first bombing of Anthony Stephen Howes, they probably would have discovered and could have saved the lives of other people and other people from being killed or injured. I don't know if race plays a part in this. Well, yeah, we all know race does play a part in this. They're trying to say the man made, at one point they thought he had made the bomb himself. Right, black folks go around making bombs. Okay. It just makes you wonder. But here we are, a handsome, intelligent 17-year-old kid who's doing some positive in his life, on his way to Howard University, a musician, such a bright future ahead of him. I want us to always remember this young man, which is why I'm doing this video. Sometimes we get so caught up in the everyday life over here in Niggerville that we realize that there are some bright, shining, intelligent black folks out here who are doing well and doing amazing things, and they should be acknowledged. This young man's life should be acknowledged, and we should all know who he is. A lot of us may not even have heard or probably didn't pay much attention to it. He has been in, I will say, there has been some media attention because I did see his funeral a day or two ago. I know his mother was not able to attend the funeral, but they did. And now I will say this. Had this kid been a 17-year-old white kid on his way to Harvard University, I do think the media coverage would have been different. It's just the reality of it all. Sometimes we got to live in truth. Had this been a 17-year-old white kid killed at his home, retrieving a package from FedEx, I think there would have been far more reporting of his death. I don't want. You see, sometimes we get so caught up with race, but it's just the reality of it all. You have to live in truth. This story kind of saddened me, and I've been watching it for a few days, and I was trying to figure out a way I was going to do a video to remember this young man, because I really don't know him. And I was trying to get as much information I can, and I still wasn't able to get as much information as I wanted, because I was searching the internet, just trying to see what could I find. And again, had this been a white young kid, we would have saw everything, but I posted, along with my video, I'm posting 2 other videos to explain who he was and the tragic, senseless murderer. He was murdered. And his mom may not even live. Just retrieving a package by a white racist terrorist, and he was a terrorist, let's just be honest. And the news media isn't going to call this young white boy a terrorist, a 23-year-old fool, and a monster who killed innocent people for no reason. There is no reason to send a bomb to someone's house that you don't know. Now, that's one thing they haven't disclosed is how did he know why did he send the bombs to these particular homes? Why was he going after the minorities? What was the situation? Guess we'll never understand that. Maybe we'll find out in the next coming few days how to explain. Anyway, I just want to do a quick video for those of you who do your research. I'm going to post a link to this article. And if you guys come up with any other articles or information about this young man, I would love to read it. It's tragic that such a young, intelligent, gifted individual, life was snuffed out for no reason. Anyway, I'm going to conclude this video. Today it is Thursday. It is March 22nd, the year is 2018. Like my videos, click like, share them with family members and friends. I look forward to reading your all's comments, your ideas and thoughts. Should this bomber be, when things like this happen, why don't we just call them what they are, a terrorist attack? A terrorist attack by a racist American. And let's just tell the truth. Anyway, I'm out of here. You all enjoy Thursday. I say Thursday the 22nd. I think it's just Wednesday. I don't know. Thursday the 22nd of March, the year is 2018. I'm out of here. Enjoy your day.
This is a take 1. We're going to do a full run through. All cameras should be sunk on this